I was like, who's this? I'm like, oh, that's girl I seen at the when we was taking the picture. So, I didn't get too excited though. I don't try to show any, because I don't let no woman know that I'm into her. If I'm into her, I just, I play it cool, you know what I'm saying? So basically, it was kind of that, so she sat in front of me. So I was like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, she might be one of those. So I just kind of left it at that. Not like a hoe or anything like that. No, don't fucking think, because you motherfuckers are stupid sometimes. But, I was thinking like, oh, she kind of maybe a little stuck up or something. Like she don't talk to niggas, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know. I was like, so, okay, I'm kind of judging her a little before I got to know her. But then, not even maybe a few minutes later, she comes sit next to me. Okay? So I'm like, oh, shit, so I sit up, you know what I'm saying, in my seat, bro. I'm like, okay, shit, So I'm just kind of just, checking her out, not trying to look, but looking, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, playing cool. Like I said, playing it cool. So it was kind of that, I didn't say anything. Not a word, not nothing, anything, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of act like I wasn't even really paying attention to her, basically. So what it was, I was kind of just like peeping game. I was like, let me just kind of like see what she about, before I even kind of, do anything. Because again, I was interested, but not really, because I was kind of going, I'm not kind of, but I was actually, in the process of getting into the military and things. So I was kind of like, I'm leaving anyway. What's the point of really trying to get to know somebody and things and, things like that. I just didn't want to feel like like don't get me wrong, people date and stuff, and then y'all kind of go, go your separate ways type things like that. So, it was like that. But I don't know. It was just felt something kind of different with her. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I feel like I could probably like her, and I don't want, I just like, fuck it. I ain't going to deal with it. So, little things like that. So, out of nowhere, she started talking to me. I think she messaged me or something in the chat. So I was kind of like, it wasn't that day. I think she did ask me for something, but I didn't really talk. I don't know. But I think maybe a couple of days she messaged me in chat or whatever. So we chatting it up, So I'm like, all right, cool. Shit like that. She flirting with me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't really trying to, like initiate nothing, just kind of playing it off. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to play a little hard to get type shit. So with that said, we just like, I don't know, just started like really talking and shit. It became like to a point where we were just joking around with each other and shit like that. And, she'll tell me little things, and we was always on her phone. Don't tell nobody. We was going on her social media. So she was always telling me jokes and shit or something she was reading. So we over here laughing and shit. Me and her and then the other coworker we had, we kick it with. So, with that said, we just kind of just end up like hanging out. We all go to lunch together type thing. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of end up like hanging out every day and stuff. Cause it was 4 of us in that class. When I say us, us. You know what I'm talking about? But with that said, I think like 4, but the other nigga didn't talk to us. So it was us 3, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he talked, he was cool, but he was just kind of, he stayed at himself, which is understandable. You just there to do your job and go home type shit. So, and then I didn't really socialize. I don't socialize with them any goddamn way. So, but with that said, got acquainted and things like that. Kind of got to know her, you know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not really, she's fine. So, I know I'm attracted to her. So that's a given. So, I wasn't even tripping. So this was like tripping. So it was like, whatever, she's beautiful. Yeah. So, I see beautiful girls all the time, don't mean I'm, I always gotta hit it and shit like that. Sometimes I just like to be cool with you. So, with that said, that was it. I just, I enjoyed the fact that we was just friends. We always laughing, joking and shit. That's how it kind of started, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was good. But, I don't know. It just kind of like, I don't know. We knew because we would flirt with each other like here and there and shit like that. So, we'll shoot each other little shots and stuff. So it's not like we weren't like, not, into each other or anything like that. But, yeah, and it kind of just, went from one thing to another type of thing. Basically, for the longest time, I felt like she was really trying to like, get me, but I was like, she gave me her number. I didn't call her. I didn't text, nothing. She'll text me. I'll be real short and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was just because, again, I'm leaving, and also the situation I had here at the house, you know what I'm saying? So with that, and I knew if I was going to date somebody, live with another woman, how the fuck would that look, basically? So But with that said, you know what I'm saying? It even got to a point where, you know, I was getting so frustrated here at home, I was actually telling them what was going on. So it's not like she didn't know. It's not like, you know, it was her and another coworker. They knew what was up. So she wanted to know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I'm getting off subject. So basically what it was, you know, like, again, you know, she's already like, she's beautiful, like just fine, just a beautiful black woman. So again, I was given, but you know, like once she started talking, that's what really fucked me up. Cause I was like, damn, this girl actually got a brain. So it really like fucked me up. So, you know, I was kind of like, all right, nah, just leave it alone. But again, shooting shots. Okay. So finally one night, you know, I asked her for a ride. I really didn't need a ride, but she was looking good. I couldn't help it that night. I was like, fuck it. So I was like, can you give me a ride home? So she gave me a ride home, but then she's like, what you doing tonight, basically? And I was like, nothing. What you want to do? So I was like, hey, you know, she's like, I don't know. I was like, well, you hungry? Let's get something to eat. So I was like, let's go to Outback. Or no, we went to Chili's. Excuse me, Chili's. So I was like, let's go to Chili's, get a drink, get something to eat. So, you know, because I like going to Chili's, Outback, whatnot. So I was like, all right, so that's my thing. So we went there, chopped it up, and I got to know her for real, like talking to her and really seeing where it was headed and stuff, and you know what she wanted in the future and things like that. And you know, she's very business savvy, and you know, she's smart, you know, things like that. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, so we already got shit in common right then and there, you know what I'm saying? And then we already have a few things, and the fact that she liked the fact that I collect action figures, bro, and then we got a lot of shit in common, which is crazy, man. You know, and fuck, bro, I fucked up. But anyway, So with that said, you know, we start talking and things like that. We're at Chili's chopping it up, and so we end up going from Chili's. I think she took me somewhere, because you know it was going good. We were enjoying each other's company. The night didn't end or nothing like that. So we ended up going somewhere else. Shit, I can't remember. I think we ended up going downtown maybe. We went somewhere nice. It was a decent spot. You know, we didn't spend money. That's one thing. Another reason why I love her, man. Like she doesn't like me spending money. Okay. All right. So, but I do, cause you know, like that's me. Like if you know if I'm into you or not even into you, if I'm like she, you know. This is later on down the road, though. Not right then. I wasn't in love with her right then. I was getting to know her type shit. So, you know, but my point is, you know, if I love you or whatever, I'm gonna take care of you type shit. But anyway, so yeah. So with that said, you know, night was going good. We spent all night together. I think we went to work kind of hungover a little bit, but whatever. There ain't nobody. But I probably shouldn't have said it, but I said it. I hope you don't work there. I'm gonna add this shit up. So yeah. So anyway, it was a good night. Nothing, you know, not even a kiss or cheek, you know, just good night. You know what I'm saying? I think we sat in the car and talked for a little bit. I think and that was it. You know, kind of, you know, because she had to get home and everything. So that was kind of it right there. And then, you know, we hung out again. You know, every day after that. Actually. Yeah, so, you know, again, like, you know, like I was into her. Like, she was on my mind all fucking night. Like, when I went home, that's all I was thinking about. I was like, man, this is like, she more than what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm like, all right. So, I'm like, just don't get too excited. So, I'm just sitting here like, all right, whatever. So, you know, just, it was cool, you know. So, after that, we hanging out, you know, just enjoying each other's time and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much what it was. And then it got to a point where, you know, I don't know, like, you can really tell that we was really, like, you know, falling for each other. Like, you know, it's got to a point where we would sit in the car and just be in there and cuddle and hold each other. Because, again, the roommate. So she would sit out here with me, and we'll sit here and we'll spend time. Like, it was just crazy. We'll just talk. Sometimes we even talk. We'll just sit there and just, like, hold each other, and or she'll fall asleep on me or off, you know, whatever. So, yeah. So, you know, that's what it was, you know what I'm saying? And kind of led to one point, you know, where, you know, we were together every day, like, you know, and the feelings was rushing in, you know what I'm saying? And And I remind you, we haven't even slept together yet, okay? So, you know, I was really into her. That's how I knew, you know, I wasn't trying to just jump in the skin already, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know, I didn't want the shit to end. I didn't want anything to, you know, go bad. I was like, I'm enjoying just spending time with her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, with that said, you spending time and things, feelings rushing in, and I don't know, we both kind of told each other we love each other. And I mean, I believe it, because I said it, I meant that shit, because I love this girl, and I still do, goddammit. So, you know, and it happened. I mean, I ain't gonna say who said it first, but I didn't. So, but it don't matter. It doesn't fucking matter, all right? Because I wasn't gonna say anything, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, anyway, but I don't know, was it butterflies or did you really love me? Anyway, so with that said, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but when I told her I loved her, I was falling in love with her. I literally was, like, straight the fuck up. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, hanging tough. And then, I don't know, like, so after that, I asked her, you know, does she want to be my girlfriend and whatnot, you know? And she's like, well, I thought I already was. I was like, well, shit, give me a kiss, goddammit. So, you know, I kissed them juicy lips, but anyway, so, yeah. So that happened. So, you know, with that said, so, you know, I'm, you know, like I said, I'm falling in love. So I'm paying attention to every fucking thing she does. Like, I'm watching everything, like anything, like to really like know the ins and outs, like anything that make you like who she is, you know what I'm saying? So I'm studying her, you feel me? You know, just so like basically like, you know, she wouldn't have to worry about anything, just trying to, you know, see what I can do to really show her that, you know, I love her and that I'm falling in love with her. I want her to, you know, be in my life forever. So, you know, so with that said, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, I was just, you know, just treated like, you know, I really, you know, was into her, and, you know, and she saw that. So, you know, so with that said, it kind of got to that point, you know, where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of mention the Navy. She knew, I believe she knew. I think I might have mentioned it a few times, maybe not too much. I think we were talking about it a little bit in class and everything, but so I kind of brought it. I'm like, look, I'm doing this, you know what I'm saying, and you know, I want to be with you and things, and you know, and I want to get to know you and your family and, you know, your children and everything, and you know, I want to be with you. So, you know, let me get this stuff situated and things like that, and you know, and be back, or maybe I'll send for you, you fly, the kids come out, you know, some shit while I'm down there, and all the extra stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to, you know, really just let her know that I want her in my future. So, but with that said, you know, it worked out. Like, she was game. So, yeah. So I was like, well, shit, that's when I got to the point, which is later on down, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything was falling into place. So, but again, so, like I said, there was a lot of things as far as who she is, her personality. You know, she's a strong woman. She's been through a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, from what she was telling me, and just at a young age, you know, because she's, 9 years younger than me, 10 years younger. She's 28. I'm 37, by the way. So, you know, so I'm like, okay. So, you know, she was, you know, mature, you know, for her age and things like that. So, kinda. I'm playing. She matured. But she young, and I loved it. That's another thing I loved about it. She was young, I'm older, so I'm like, we gonna be having fun. You know, we got these kids, we gonna get them out of the house, and we gonna enjoy each other. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put them to school, whatever they need to do, and we gonna spend time. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time I wasn't thinking about just, you know, having any more children. I thought it was gonna be, you know, I already have one, and she has hers, and I just figured, you know, we'll, you know, get them going and set them on the path, and then we can, you know, spend our time. So, but yeah, but like I said, you know, so again, it just falls into place. So I'm, you know, all right, so I'm falling in love, you know, thinking about her, trying to really show her that, you know, it kind of went from being her boyfriend to trying to like show her, you know, I can be your husband type shit, you know, trying to, at least. So So it kind of, basically led to one thing. Another thing, man, she a G. I don't know if I mentioned that, but she a G, bro. There's a few times where she scared the shit out of me and she got up and we fucking went drinking right after that. It was that time where, I don't know if I should bring it up, but I'm gonna bring it up. And I'm sorry, girl, if you didn't want me to talk about this shit. But, so it was one night and shit, she finally met my roommates. I already told her she wanted to see what was going on, and I didn't want her to see, but I was like, fuck it, we were gonna cook. And I told my roommate, I'm like, look, I'm having company. I'm bringing over my girl. I'm like, can you find somewhere to go tonight? I'm like, if, whatever type shit, because that's what I would do. If you wanted to bring someone over and you was dating somebody and she, told me she wanted company or whatever, I would have fucked around and I would have, like, found something to do. Because I already know what the fuck it is. But no. So, with that said, she was like, oh, you're not about to bring that bitch here. I'm like, what? I'm like, who are you, bro? You gonna tell me who I need to bring in my house, nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, look, man, I'm bringing whoever I want to bring over here. She's like, well, I guess we're all gonna be hanging out and having a threesome. Crazy as hell. I got all them text messages, by the way. So I'm pissed, bro. I'm like, man, I'm so livid, but I didn't tell her what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to, like be already pulling that shit on her already. Like, nigga, we just, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of just kept that shit to myself a little bit. And then, the fact that I'm texting another woman, I got my girl. So I really wasn't trying to, like, push the issue. So with that said, I kind of just didn't say nothing. I was like, let's just kind of see what happens. So I'm thinking she wasn't home and shit. Because I didn't see her, she left. So this is what happened. This bitch stayed at home all day because I texted her. Because me and my girl, we already kind of made prior plans to kind of cook and things. So I was already trying to get her to let her know, like, look, I'm having company tomorrow type thing. She didn't go to work all day and sit at the fucking house just to see when we were going to come over. And then sure enough, when I came over, she was so ready for us, bruh. She came out, nigga. She was causing a fucking scene, blood. She was causing a scene. She was causing, like, a scene, bro. Like, really trying to make it look like it was more than it was. You know what I'm saying? And Cadence was, fuck.